Hi everyone, this video is going through Sarita's budget for 2022. So like last time, I'm going to take the question from the Excel and copy it into a Word document I have on the side that I can follow along while I'm working on the Excel. And I'm just going to make this smaller so it does not take as much of my workspace as possible. Okay, and now we can jump into the question. So I'm looking at Sarita's totals for previous year for 2020, compare them to the current year, current budget for 2021. In 2020, she got a total of 1,800 for her commercial payouts. So last time I'm going to bold whenever I add anything into the document so I know that it has been added. So we have 1,008 for, sorry, I'm just going to make this into, format, into a currency. I do need to update my currency because we are, for whatever reason, okay, so 1,800, and then she needed to get into a good spot with headshots, which came to a total of 500 in January. So headshots would be a business expense, and it will be a irregular business expense. Oh, sorry, that's personal. Irregular business expense here, headshots, so 500. And then she attended a conference for 1,400 for the entire year. Again, here's the conference. It'll be another irregular because it only happened once and not on a monthly basis. Conferences are on top of the acting classes for 3,500 for the year. Again, as we know from 2021, these acting classes are a regular monthly expense. She goes to them regularly, so it'll be a fixed expense. And using a studio to better self-tastes for 3,000 for the year. And then she also works part-time at a movie theater to pay the bills. She got 25,000 that year. She has no savings at the start of the year. For the year she paid, so if she has no savings, that's a cash flow in of 0. Then she has no, okay, for the year she paid rent for 11,000. And her phone bill was 1,200. And then cable and internet was also 1,200. Prescription was 600. And then her groceries were 1,000. Also dines out, and she is spending out 1,500 for the year. And she's spending 300 on cleaning. Her website designer charges her 3,600 per year. So again, this will be a business expense. Here's the designer, so 3,600. And then she also paid 600 a year for car rentals. To get to additions, the entire year she paid maintenance / furniture at 1,200. And buys clothes for also 1,200. And she goes to the dentist twice a year for 700. And 1,400 in salons. Since she was not able to pay all of her bills, her parents stepped in to pay for outstanding for 2020, add all the information compared to next year and previous year, calculate the variance between the years. Okay. So now that we have all of the information in our sheet, we can start adding all of the totals like we did for the previous year. So again, we'll be using the sum function for this. So we'll just be writing equal sign sum, open bracket, and then we're going to select what we would like to add. And again, we will be doing the same thing for all of her expenses. So again, equal sign sum, open bracket, select the area you wish to add, and then close bracket. Again, it is recommended that you select the entire area, even if it doesn't currently have variables, as they could be added in later on, and then the formula will automatically update all of the totals, so you don't have to go back to try to figure out if it was adding or wasn't adding. It'll just populate automatically. So again, going through all of her expenses. So now that we have all of them calculated, we can add all of the expenses together. So instead of the sum function, I'm just going to use just a plus sign. Again, you can also use the sum function and just select all of these individually. And now we can scroll all the way up and add in all of our variables. So the total income we calculated right over here. And then the total expenses we calculate at the bottom. Again, you can use the sum function to add all the variables up, but since you've already done that, it makes it easier just to pull in that specific cell. So now we can calculate the difference. What we're going to do is we're going to take total income, and then we're going to subtract the expenses. And again, she nets out at a negative number since she is not getting paid as much as she is spending. So now that we have all of the 2020 annual expenses in there, we can add in the 2021 ones. So what you can do is you can just copy and paste from the previous cell where we calculated all of her annual expenses. But if you make any changes to this one, or if you realize that you made a miscalculation, that won't automatically populate to this other cell, or other sheet. What I would recommend for you to do is to use a simple formula that just imports all of that data, and then if any changes are made to the other sheet, it automatically updates it in this one as well. So this is called, so again, this is a function, so you're going to do the equal sign, and then you are going to write import range and open bracket. So something to note about import range is it is an importing, so you can import any kind of cells from any sheet. It doesn't have to be from the same one, so it could be a completely different one that you are just pulling data from. This again can come in very handy if you don't want to rewrite information and you just want it to automatically populate from elsewhere. So there's a helpful tool in Google Sheet that takes you through how to use the formula. So it explains what you need to do, as well as providing an example so you can clearly see what is expected of you. So what we're going to do is we are going to add in a quotation mark. Again, since we're copying from the same Excel sheet or Google Sheet, we will just copy the formula, the URL of this sheet. Again, close bracket, comma, and now we're adding the range that we want the function to pull. So since I want this to be specific, it has to be the exact spacing and wording of the sheet name. I'm just going to open and close the quotation marks, close bracket, and I'm going to press enter, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one. I'm just going to copy this sheet name instead of trying to write it exactly as it was there. I know for a fact that this is accurate. So after pasting in the sheet name, I'm going to use the exclamation point. And now I'm going to select the range that I want to input. So I want to input the exact same range that we are currently on, because it is the exact same in the other sheet. So if you look at it, I need N, some column N from N3 all the way down till N54. So what we're going to do, N3 to N54. I'm going to press enter, and then I'm just going to wait for it to load. Because this is a longer range, it might take some time to load, but once it does, it'll automatically upload or update if you make any changes to the other sheet, which I will show you in a second after all of this loads. Something that might happen is you might get a pop-up saying that this Google Sheet needs your permission to load the data. So again, if you're the owner of the Excel, you just click allow and it'll automatically populate. Again, if it's easier if you're the owner of both sheets, if you're importing from a different sheet. Again, just making sure that you give it permission to use your data. So again, here you can see all of the information that was inputted into the other sheet. And if you go back and you actually delete something like the total income, all of our other formulas get populated, but you can see that that information is missing from this one as well. So since we actually do need that information, I'm just going to bring that back, doing Control-Z, and here it is populated again. So now that we have all of the data that we need, we're going to start calculating the variance as well as the year-over-year change for these 2 years. So for variance, what we're going to do is we're going to put in the equal sign, and then we're going to take the new year and we are going to subtract the old year from it, which gives us the difference. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to autofill all of it just so we don't have to write it. Again, we could have just dragged that down. And then for year-over-year change, we're going to put the equal sign. We're going to be using a function called the round function. And basically what it helps us do is it rounds to a specific decimal place. This comes in handy when you have a limit of how many decimal places you can include. So for example, if you're selling tickets, you can't sell half or a quarter of a ticket. So you would need to round to the nearest whole number. Since we are doing percentages, we're rounding to 4 decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're going to put round, open bracket, and then since we're not just doing a value, we're actually going to put in an equation here. That requires additional brackets. I'm going to add another bracket, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the new year, we're going to subtract it by the old year to figure out the difference. Then we're going to close bracket because we want that to be done, that subtraction to be done before we divide it by the old year. And now that that is the formula for calculating year-over-year change, I'm going to put the comma. Here it tells us that's how many decimal places we want. Again, as mentioned, we want 4 decimal places, so I'm going to add a 4, close bracket, and I'm going to press enter. So right now, you can see that this is 19 cents, which is not what we want. So we want it to be a percentage. So what we're going to do is we're going to click format as a percent. And here is the formatting for 1866. So 18% and 66. So instead of the autofill that I kind of did not click, we are going to just drag that down to make our life easier. Again, this variance is not really relevant. And then some of these will have this error message because Excel cannot, my computer frozen. Excel cannot divide when there is a 0. So that would be why you're getting all of these divisions. Again, don't worry about them. You can just move that over and reformat it as you wish. So once you have everything the way you like it, you start looking at the differences. So when looking at the year-over-year change as well as the variance, we can see that she started to earn more in 2021 as compared to 2022, as well as spending more, but the increase in her earning was higher than the increase in her expenses, which is a good sign. And then we can see that the difference was also the difference in how much she did not make it or could not pay her bills also decreased, which is a good sign. So she is getting closer to breaking even with her financial budgeting, but again, she still has a deficit in both years. So that means that she has bills that she was unable to pay. And then looking at her income, we can see that the change in her income came from her getting paid more at her movie theater job. And we can scroll down. We can see that she's starting to spend more money on dining out, a whole 140%. But she is spending less at salons and for personal hygiene. And she's spending less at acting classes, which is bringing down her expenses, which is a good sign. So you can see here at the expenses again. So what is the variance in her? So we went through the variance from 2020 to 2021. What is the year-over-year change of her salary at the movie theater? So we did see it, but just scrolling over, it is 20%. That is the difference. And then what has the highest year-over-year increase? So if we scroll, it's 140. Dining out is her highest year-over-year difference. And then what should she focus on improving next year? So again, like I mentioned in the video, she needs to focus more on trying to earn more and spend less, as she still has a deficit / she owes money at the end of the year, which is not ideal, and again will not help her in her 10-year plan of saving up for a house. So she needs to either get another job, potentially switch jobs to one that pays more, and cut out any expenses that are not necessary. Thank you for watching this video.